بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. Before I begin, I'd like to extend my gratitude to Aqil, Hussein, and the rest of the team. As Hussein said, I'm sure it was very unprecedented on their side. Hussein mentioned they had around just under 100 participants on the group, and then I think within 4 days, they've now got close to 1,000 participants. So, great marketing, Hussein and Aqil, and well done for doing this. Hopefully, it'll be of some great benefit to the community. I've got around 20 minutes, and I wanted to provide a brief overview on migration to Oman as we've seen it as a family, and then explore any details you may wish to ask about in the Q&A. And then later on, I'm sure we can share our contact details for any further conversations. The purpose of this presentation. So I wanted to share personal experience. We're a family of five, my wife and my three boys. I've got Ahmed, 15. He's now sitting his IGCSEs here in Oman. Hor, 14, and then Yusuf is 8. We did a bit of an interesting transition in terms of education, which I'll touch upon when I come to the schooling side of things. But all in all, they're all studying IGCSE now, which is pretty much the same syllabus that they had back home. Perspective, I wanted to give a perspective of somebody who's moved from the West. I think it will be different for somebody moving from the East, for example, from Africa. I know we have quite a few people who have moved and are moving from Africa. But from the West, I guess I would have been accustomed to certain infrastructure, to a certain way of schooling. So hopefully that will come across whether or not those things were lived up to in Oman as well. I think it's important to hear from people who have actually made the move, as Hussein mentioned. So hopefully this will be more of a balanced real life overview, not only mentioning the positives, but also mentioning the challenges that are present as well. And then hopefully we can delve in more with the other speakers as well in the Q&A sections. So Oman's been on the map for us, and I'm sure for many others, for quite a few years. My uncle, my paternal uncle, he was the head of the secondary school, Al-Sahwa, here in Oman for 5 years. So we knew about Oman. We clearly had family in Oman. He used to speak very highly about the safety in Oman, about the zero sectarianism in Oman. So it really did make us want to explore it further when we did look at moving away from the UK. What I've noticed from my travels throughout the world, what I've seen in different communities, is that it's become a bit of a buzzword in the last 1 or 2 years, where people want to look at Oman, want to speak about Oman, and I think that's something extremely positive. But I do think that it's not the right place for everybody, and that's why I would strongly encourage that people do visit and explore thoroughly before they make the bold move to migrate. For many who have moved, and I would say that what I know of, we're around 100 Shia families from the West. There are families from other communities, from other schools of thought as well. There's another group that I'm on, which has around 600 individuals who have migrated. But specifically, the Western community that I'm aware of, we're around 100 families that have migrated mainly from the West. And we have around a family every 2 months. Just an example, there's a family moving second week of December, another family from the UK moving last week of December, another family next Feb. These are just families that I know that are confirmed to move. For many who do move over, it's a long-term goal. So they are hoping that their kids will move into education, that they will have some sort of employment opportunity or business set up over here. And I've met quite a few who are moving over for retirement. Just 2 weeks ago, I was helping an individual look at properties who's looking to retire away from US and move over to Oman as well. There are a few families who are moving over for short-term, goal-driven migration. For that, what I mean by that is they've come with a specific time frame. They can only take a year out, or they only take 6 years out, and they're very goal-driven. So in this 1 year, for example, they want their kids to learn Arabic, or in this 1 year, they want a massive change of environment and perspective. And there are a handful of those as well. So I think it's open. It's an open migration. Some are here for the long term, and there's a handful here for the short term. What I think will be the challenge for migrating to Oman will be when our kids reach the university age. So my eldest, 15, one of the eldest children over here, we'll be hitting university in a few years. I think that's when we'll start seeing some families maybe moving to the West or sending their children to the West. Personally, that's not our goal, and we're hoping that we can, ensure that Ahmed studies his university degree if that's what he pursues over here in Oman, simply because of the positive impact that we've seen on our family, which I'll touch upon. The main reasons for people to migrate, top of the list, and I haven't really seen this in many of our communities. I've heard of economic migration. I've heard of people migrating because of health as well. But it's the first time, at least in the time that I've been aware of migration within our communities, that there's a push for a more religion-driven, and I don't mean to say moving for economic reason is not under the garb of religion, but this is more about a moral society. There's a push towards migrating for the sake of nurturing children. The verse of Quran that I'm sure you're all aware of, قُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ وَأَهْلِيكُمْ نَارًا, protect yourselves and the family from the fire of hell. Whenever I discuss migration to Oman, especially if people have young children, this tends to be at the top of the list. That we want an environment where we can nurture our family in a way that we won't be afraid of the morality that will be taught to them, not only in schools. I mean, you might be able to counter that, but generally in society, that we don't want them to be pushed towards immorality, and we can see an increase of that. At least I can say firsthand, I could see that exponentially growing in London. So there's a massive push for an Islamic, an ethical, a moral society and environment to nurture children. The second reason that I've seen people migrating over is because they want their families to learn Arabic or themselves as well. And the best way to do that, from my experience, I studied Arabic quite a lot in the UK, but it was of no comparison to when I went to Syria. I was there for a year in the Damascus University. It's just the immersion that pushes you to learn a language. And so being in Oman assists greatly. The Omani dialect is very close to Fusha as well, which is the Quranic Arabic. You can actually speak it on the streets, you'll be understood. Together with the Arabic language is the Omani culture. There's a lot of infusion of the religion within the Omani culture. And because of that, I mean, it's a double positive. You not only are you in a moral environment, but the culture that is being held up by the people around you, and the culture that your children live in within the schooling environment as well, is highly dictated and influenced by the Omani culture, which we found to be extremely moral. Number three, many people are moving over because they want to find a better work-life balance. Some are moving over for economic opportunities, and a few are moving over for simply allowing themselves to retire in a slower paced environment. I do want to mention what Oman is not, and I think it's important to understand from the onset what Oman isn't. Oman is not a place where you will find a Western cultured way of life. So if you enjoy celebrating certain Western holidays, for example, recently there was a video taken out by an Omani here because in certain places in Muscat, people were celebrating Halloween and they were speaking strongly against it. So if it's a place where you want to, export yourself from a country, but import the Western environment and culture as well, then Oman probably isn't the right fit. Neither is it a place where you'll find ultra luxury high-end living. I mean, you'll walk in the malls over here and you will struggle to find ultra high-end brand, which I think is a very positive thing, especially when you're nurturing a family. I mean, you'll see more attar shops and furniture shops inside the malls than you will when it comes to high-end clothing brand. What we've noticed as well, not only from the adults, but also from the children, there is no push for our kids, for the wider society to keep up with the Joneses. Just because somebody ends up buying a new phone or a new car, there's no push for all the kids to start doing that. Everybody is comfortable in living within their own means, which again, I think is highly moral. Oman is not a secular culture and doesn't provide a secular culture, it's not a secular society. Religion is infused everywhere in Oman. You will see the Mufti of Oman making very bold and clear statements every now and again, which for us provides good assurity that religion is at the helm of this society. And finally, if you're coming from a metropolis, if you're coming from some place like London, New York, if you like the fast-paced life, if you like the rat race, then Oman might take some adjusting for you. It's definitely not a rat race over here. People are migrating through four main methods. Majority of us moved over under business. So you open a business, and I'm sure there'll be people who'll speak about that, so I won't go into too much detail. But you can open a business in a quite inexpensive fashion. You'll then get a shareholder visa, a business visa. You'll have that for a couple of years. There are terms and conditions on how to run a business here. And then within that 1 year, you can always liquidate your business, you can always close your business, and you can move over to another visa. Maybe you find employment within that 1 year, you can now move over to employment visa. You might buy property, certain conditions there, but what property can allow you to do if you buy within an ITC, an integrated tourism complex, where foreigners can own a property with 100% ownership, you can actually get a residency for yourself, your spouse, your parents, and your children. Children have a certain age limit and they can't be married as well. So property is very lucrative right now to have indefinite stay in Oman. So long as you hold on to that property, your visa will be renewed every couple of years as well. And there are a handful who are moving over on a golden visa. Golden visas used to be 500,000 Omani Riyal, minimum investment. It just came down at the end of August and it's now 200,000 Omani Riyal. Again, terms and conditions apply as to how to apply for a golden visa, and I'm sure someone is going to touch upon that as well. So let's move into how we're finding Oman. First and foremost, the communal spiritual life. We all come from vibrant communities, or at least the majority of us, I'm sure. And I'm sure everybody here has a keen desire to ensure that they and their family can uphold and further themselves in their spiritual endeavor in getting closer to God as they undertake such a migration. The first thing I must mention about Oman that we love, and I'm sure you will do too, is that you will not see sectarianism. If there's something that I will, scream out about Oman, is that Alhamdulillah, my kids, my family, and my friends have never experienced any type of sectarianism. We've been here for some 1.5 years. There are people who have been here for 20, 30 years. I know individuals who have migrated over some 30 years ago, some individuals from the Pakistani community, as an example. You will not see sectarianism. What really touched me was a few months ago, we went into a mall and it's Salah time. So we went into the prayer room. You'll find, as you would expect, either mosques on every corner, prayer halls everywhere, and they're actually full or they're actually being utilized. If it's prayer time and you go into a mosque, you'll see rows of people praying. It's not just architecture. You'll actually see people praying. We went into the hall in the mosque, the hall in the mall, went to pray. One of the Jama'ah had just finished, so my sons and myself, we started another one. By the end of Maghrib, there was at least, 15 people praying behind us. And the smile on my kids' face was something I won't forget. That they came and told me, Dad, did you see everyone prayed with us together? That happens in the park. When you pray in the prayer hall in the park, it'll happen in any mosque. If you're going to pray after a Jama'ah has just finished, people will join you and you'll pray together. I really believe that that's what the Prophet wanted from us. The mosque of the Prophet is where people would come in together and be one. And that's what you see here in Oman. People will pray in different fashions and forms, but everybody will pray together. That's the greatest beauty that I've seen here. You will never be asked about your sect. Maybe there are certain instances, but all those people that I know and all the interactions I've had, from interactions with ministries and authorities to people who have just moved over, to taxi drivers, no one has ever asked me about my sect. They've been astonished that there are Muslims migrating from the West, but that's about it. There are weekly programs held at different mosques, so you will always have something to benefit from as an expat community. When I say expat community, I mean people who have migrated from the West. We don't have a banner under which we are gathering right now at certain times. There's no cultural tag on us. We don't have a Khoja community or an Iraqi community or Lebanese community, Iranian. Right now, we are a multicultural group of individuals who are moving from the West who get to know each other. Sometimes we meet at places and there'll be weekly programs. Under Omani law, and I think this is something very important to note. Under Omani law, gathering in a fashion which is continuous, gathering in a fashion where you've got invites going out in people's houses, especially religious gatherings, is outlawed. That's a red line. Will people do it is a different discussion. Do people do it is a different discussion. I want to mention that this is a red line. And maybe that's one of the ways in which they've maintained this lack of sectarianism. Anything that's religious gatherings, they happen in the mosques. You know what's being said, they're being recorded. You want to learn something, it could be Arabic, it happens in a training institute. You want to learn how to recite Quran, there are different marakis, there are different centers that teach Quran and hifd of Quran all around the place. So you can always ensure that your religious nurturing is being upheld, but it has to be done in the right way. And I think we have a duty when we migrate to a country to also uphold their laws. Munasabat, especially those of us who are regular at going to a mosque, be it for a wilada, be it for a shahada program of the Prophet, his family, Sahaba, you will find that these events are present. For us here in Oman, we found that there is a vibrant Pakistani community that speaks Urdu in their mosque. There's a vibrant Arab Omani community. There's three main Omani tribes, Shia tribes. So you will find that they have gatherings regularly, and you're more than welcome to attend any of them. So there is going to be a bit of a language barrier until we're able to get English up and running. There is a growing community, as I mentioned, at least a family every 2 months that are coming. There is a local Lawati Sheikh here who does do monthly English gatherings, and hopefully that will be increased as well. So it's not that English is not present, it is, but you definitely have to push yourselves to learn Arabic to benefit from what's on offer. I'll try and speed through the next few slides with 5 minutes left. Family time. If you're an active family, I mean, we didn't know that we were an active family until we came to Oman. I mean, the wadis that are here, the outings that you have, the snorkeling that you do at the Mania Island, the hiking that you can do. There's things that we would never have dreamt of doing, camping outside, and it's all happening. Only because Oman has so much to offer. It's extremely safe, obviously. And so that allows you to really explore things that you probably didn't do back home in a concrete jungle. There are children-specific activities, be it after-school club, there's football, there's swimming, there's horse riding, everything that you expect your children to have, you'll find it here. Ladies-only activities, there's your Pilates gyms and the likes in the studios that are booked out. Ladies-only activities are advertised in malls as well. It could be art classes, pottery, things like that happen. And there are, when I say ladies specific, I think it shows again the respect that there is an option. There's going to be your paddle tennis, which is mixed at times, and then there's going to be your ladies only groups as well. So women from different backgrounds will have the option of maintaining their privacy if they wish. Sports I touched upon, and seas and mountains are something that you really have to come and explore for yourself if you're an active family. What I can say as impact, if you do make the move to Oman, or if you even just come and visit for some period of time, my landlord told me this when I was moving over. He was asking what is the main driving force and why we're staying in the place we're staying with a bit on the outskirts of Muscat. I said I wanted a culture where my kids could benefit from. I said I wanted an environment where they'll be pushed to speak Arabic. I didn't want to live, bang in the heart of Muscat where everybody would be easily be speaking English. I wanted them to be speaking Arabic, a specific school that we looked for that is around 95% Omani intake, but English medium. He told me you'll see a major benefit within a year. And true to what he said, I mean, I've seen immense differences in my kids because of the impact just of the society and the schooling environment as well. I mean, you can pray. We live literally opposite a mosque. You can walk to the mosque. We pray within mosques more regularly than we did back in London. Another impact that I've seen is that I found that we were nurtured in an environment in London to say that everybody is guilty before being innocent. So, if you stop on the side on a motorway and somebody else stops and they ask you whether or not you want help, or somebody offers you something to drink on the street, you kind of ask yourself, what does this person want? What's the ulterior motive? I think it's the first time in my life that I've migrated to a place where people are just genuine individuals who have great character. The calmness in Oman, the you won't find patients are very strange. You won't find a road rage in Oman. In 1.5 years, I've never had people having a go at each other on the road. If somebody might cut you off, you won't find somebody rolling down their window and having a go at you. It just doesn't happen. There's a general acceptance of respect and calmness. I won't go into too much of the hospitality. Arab hospitality, as ever, is number one. And time is a major thing. You get time with your family. You're not traveling 1.5 hours each way to work. The weekends, people do spend time with their family. It's a very family-oriented society. Even for example, Ramadan, the community I would come from in Hujjat in Stanmore, you would expect to go and have iftar at mosque, and then there'll be a mosque program for the next 2, 3 hours. Here, people will come for salah to the mosque and dua and pretty much take something for iftar and go home because everything is happening at home. People are meeting with their extended families and meeting together at home. Um, my time is up. I'm going to touch upon just schooling and I'll jump the other slides. Maybe if we have time later on, I can come back to it. For those who are moving with children, I would strongly recommend that you do move around schools. You do look at the different schools. The majority of schools, if not all schools, have a school bus facility that will allow your kids to get to school if you can't drop them for whatever reason in the morning. There's a huge range of fees for schools, so you can pretty much find a school within your budget. Whether or not it lives up to your educational standards is a second question. In Oman, generally, education will be of a lower level than what we're used to back in the UK, and you'll have to top this up. There are three main subjects that are taught only in Arabic in any school that is under the ministry. That is Arabic language, Islamic studies, and social studies. Your children, if they're coming from the UK and they have reports that are approved from the UK and they come over to Oman, they'll be exempted from these three classes. They will then take Arabic as a second language and they don't have to take Islamic studies or social studies because they're going to be in Arabic. The reason why Islamic studies is in Arabic is because the government, the Ministry of Education, dictates the syllabus. And that's why they can ensure that there is no sectarianism being taught even in schools. And finally, the curriculums, the syllabus and the curriculum frameworks that you find in the schools are mainly three. One is going to be your IGCSE, that will mimic what we have pretty much back home in the UK. The second is the IB curriculum, and that's going to marry up what you can find in America mainly. And the third one is the GED curriculum, which is the local curriculum in Oman. Most schools will teach one international and a local curriculum. So it would be, for example, your child gets a choice of going into the IB curriculum or GED, or another school will teach IGCSE and GED as well. There's a few of the slides. My time is up. Let me not take from the Q&A. I'll hand over to Hussein, and maybe if there's time at the end, or if Hussein is gracious to arrange with Akhil another blowout event, then we can go over slides then as well. Thank you, Hussein.
Santam, thank you so much, Sheikhna, for giving us a wonderful overview and insight into what life is like in Oman, especially around road rage. Um, I just got to London last week, and I think I saw two people lash out at each other. I won't mention where because I'm from South London, but we'll leave it at that. Anyhow, thank you, Sheikhna, and we have received lots of questions, I would say, in the chat, as well as those that submitted their survey. And so what I'll do now is in the interest of time, we'll allocate 10 minutes towards Q&A with Sheikh AliHusain specifically. So if anybody has questions for Sheikh AliHusain, please put them in the chat and I'll put them through to Sheikh. But there was this question that came through via the survey, and you might have touched upon it during your presentation. However, it's good to maybe highlight it again in case someone might have missed, because I know we did have a few people who've just joined us on this chat recently. So Sheikh, the question is there a plan to build a Ja'fari mosque in Oman or in Muscat? If so, in what area?
Thank you. So, first and foremost, we have mosques that will facilitate for the religious teachings of all different sects. So they're already present. It's not like there is a void. You will find mosques for the Ibadi Muslims, of which they are the majority here. The Sunni school of thought will have their mosques. The Shi'is will have their mosques. And when I say their mosques, it's going to be predominantly their teachings, but obviously everybody is welcome to attend and pray and gather within them. Um, A group of us have been in touch with the necessary authorities here to start the conversation about building a community which is going to facilitate for the English speaking Shia Muslims that have moved over and migrated from the West. Alhamdulillah, there's a lot of positive replies that are coming back so far. We're working on a couple of projects already with the authorities that will assist those who are speaking mainly the English language. So definitely the ball is rolling. However, we must remember that in order to ensure that there's no sectarianism, a lot of checks and balances have to be met. So it will take its time, but rest assured the ball is rolling on that front.
Inshallah. Brother Ali Mirza wants to know, is there a particular mosque that you go to, Sheikhna, especially for Jum'ah?
For Jummah, for sure. So the closest mosque to me, just over the Amarat mountain, is Jami' al-Salam with regards to Jum'ah, and that's where you'll find most of the English-speaking expat community that have migrated from the West. You'll find most of them attend the mosque Jami' al-Salam. Jami' al-Salam, just so that you can understand again how this culture in Oman works, the land was gifted by Sultan Qaboos to the Lawati community. He also gifted 3 million Omani Riyal. 4 million Omani Riyal was raised by the local community, and then the mosque was built. It's an absolutely beautiful mosque and open doors as always, and that's where most of us attend. For the actual munasabat, I mean, there's lots of different ma'atim and mosques around, so you'd probably go depending on the lecturer.
What are one or two things that the West gave you that Oman doesn't?
Very good. So when I came to the challenges of one of my slides, um, one of the challenges here in Oman is that laws are not very clearly communicated. So the laws are present, but you may not know absolutely everything. One day I was driving, I got stopped by the police because my phone was on a phone holder, even though I wasn't holding it. He said that's not allowed in Oman. That's the first time I've heard of it. I'm not holding the phone, but nobody communicated you can't have it on a holder. He said no, you got to plug it into your screen and put it down. Property laws, they change quite often. It's not very clearly communicated, although you come to find out over time. Residency, things that naturally we came across. I give another example, just changing our license. As a UK driving license holder, it was literally, a 5-minute job to get an Omani driving license. But when somebody came from Canada, then they realized that they tried to do the same process, but now they needed a letter from the embassy in order to continue their process. So there are some laws that aren't going to be communicated clearly. Um, Working hours is very strange. Many of the police stations will close, banks will close at 2 p.m., police stations will close at 2 p.m., ministries will close at 2 p.m. So you just have to get used to the working hours. And then there's bureaucracy. Things have to move through a lot of tables and a lot of stamps. The West definitely has an edge on making things quite easy when it comes to business. That's not necessarily present right now in Oman, but they're definitely moving in that direction.
Ahsan. Is there a madrasa for English-speaking children from the West, or do families usually manage this in their own homes via the state Islamic study system?
There's no official madrasa for kids, or known as muhadara over here for children in English. There is in Arabic. There are a couple in Urdu. Children do gather, be it with their friends and colleagues on a regular basis. But again, like I mentioned, the red line in Oman is that if you want to teach religion, you should do it officially in the mosque, so it's clear what is being taught. That's one of the things we are actively working on right now as well.
Okay. Just two or three more. Have you found yourself able to further your personal Islamic studies in Oman?
Great question. So that was one of the reasons I moved over. This Oman was initially going to be a stepping stone for me. I wanted the kids to learn Arabic, and after that, we wanted to move into Islamic studies. But strangely, I found that there are a lot of qualified scholars here. Alhamdulillah, I've been able to continue my studies in a depth that I didn't think was available easily in Oman. It is very easily available, and provided you have Arabic under your belt, you'll find scholars who are able to teach at very high level as well. So yes, Alhamdulillah, I've been able to continue my Islamic studies online as well as with local scholars.
Thank you. And last question, what is the situation, or rather, how are the Shias integrated within the Omani community or society? For instance, is Julus allowed, are processions allowed on Ashura Day or Arba'in?
Um, so again, I want just to clarify, when we speak about Oman, we just speak about Muslims. When we speak about Oman, it's not integration of one sect into other sects. The Muslims are one. And if you have certain religious rites, if you have certain religious practices, provided they don't go against the law will come and protect you to do that. So yes, there are julus that happen. Julus being the traditional method of mourning for subcontinent cultures that takes place. You'll find it very strange that the Lawati Shia community, which is the majority of Shias here, have their roots in India as well. They are Khoja as well. They moved from Sindh and Gujarat and migrated to Oman some 300 years ago, whereas a lot of our grandparents moved over, or ancestors moved over to Africa. They speak Kochki, which is like a 70% Kutchi. They have the same kind of culture that we do when it comes to celebration and mourning. So you'll find everything that you were accustomed to back home taking place here.
MashaAllah. Ahsantum, thank you so much, Sheikhna. I think we'll leave it at that for now, because we do have other panelists as well, and we are cognizant of time also. So thank you so much, Sheikhna, for sharing your insight and your overview and presenting to us what life is like for Oman. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you, and we'll try and get you on, hopefully on another session when it does come about. But please continue to remain with us in case there are any questions that may come around after as well. But thank you so much, Sheikh.
Shukran. Thank you.
And if I can, yeah, I was going to ask you, yeah, I was just going to bring Brother Akil if you would like to add anything. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. So, Sheikh, thank you so much for that insight. Yeah, I just want to say, obviously, a lot of people have joined. Initially, they couldn't; it was capped out, and so a lot of people may have missed the beginning. So, apologies for that. It is being recorded, and we will share it. I'll just give just a quick re-intro of what we said in the beginning. We can continue, and Hussein can explain exactly how we are taking the process. So again, it's just this group has just come together. It's become unprecedentedly large. And we're just here to try to facilitate a sharing of information and a connection with those who are either seeking to move to Oman and connecting with those who have made the move and just try to bridge the gap of information, right? So just to stress, it's not about encouraging or discouraging. And it's clearly there's an interest in the community. For this, alhamdulillah, it's just we're happy to have facilitated this and inshallah it can be useful. So Hussein, I'll pass it back to you, maybe just to give what we've done and where we're going to go. And if we can just bring in Waqar because he has to board a plane. I hope that's okay with everyone else.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Akil. What I'll do is I'll just very quickly introduce Brother Waqar. Brother Waqar's bio is as follows. Please bear with me. Waqar is the co-founder and global CEO of Safi Ideas with 40 plus years of experience across business marketing and the charity sector. He has held senior roles at PwC, British Telecom, and HSBC, and is recognized for pioneering ethical innovation and inclusive storytelling. Brother Waqar, you have 5 minutes, inshallah, to deliver your
Okay.
presentation. Bismillah.
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. It was wonderful to hear Ali's words. Very inspiring and true to form. They were very good. So appreciate that beautiful insight into Oman. I moved to Oman about 2 years ago. I'm born and bred in England. And I spent about a year and a half in Muscat, where I lived in an area called Madinat Caboose. I'd spent 1 year actually doing nothing but observing because I came here for living to start a new life, but also we needed some income and a business. So I wanted to see what was going on. And I think Oman has its challenges. It's a small market, very small population. It's slow, Muscat in particular, but from all the economic slow. And from all the economic indicators, the market is about to lift off, both in Muscat and in Salalah. Both are different markets, but every economic indicator, investment indicator, the FDI, all this sort of stuff show that the next 2 years, this will be unrecognizable. It will become a very powerful economy and a very successful economy. And I think people have about 2 year window to enter the market where there is affordability at every level. So that's just the overview. But my purpose was to see what business opportunities exist, because we all need to earn money and so forth. Some of us may here to retire, but many want to survive and bring up their children in a good way. I think in a general level, what I found in this 1 year was two very key important points, which really give you the dynamics and the fundamentals of the opportunities that are in Oman. One is that the customer services and the quality is, I would say, below poor, well below average. You know, if I look at any sector, whether it's banking, finance, retail, F&B, travel, every sector you can think of, it is an unacceptable level of quality of service, primarily because the Omanis feel it's they need to employ the cheapest labor from the cheapest parts of the subcontinent, which is actually a false economy. Now, what that does for us as Westerners, because we understand quality, we understand customer service, we understand how to make something different, is that that offers an opportunity in every industry that you would choose to enter. Is if you can do anything better, even a smile in a coffee shop, which you rarely find here, you would bring in more customers. So one is that the service opportunity in every sector, health, education, and I mean bar none, is there for the taking. And we, with a Western mindset and ethical views and religious views, could do really well here. The second point is the profitability. The profitability is an important point because here a cappuccino is the same price as London. A coffee, a sandwich, food, whatever is exactly the same price as London. I mean, in the main market. But if you look at their cost base of labor, rent, rates, electricity, it's actually really low. So I know a lot of people who run small businesses, they're SMEs, and I look at their books, their profit margins are very high. So if you twin quality customer service and know you've got a profit margin and you come up with the right business model, you could really do well. And I'm conscious I've got 2 minutes left. Why I moved to Salalah and not stayed in Muscat, when Muscat is a very beautiful city, there's a lot happening. The thing about Muscat, it's a very stable city where, to be honest, not much happens. There's no dynamic force to dig the worms out the ground. It stays very flat. Salalah has a unique element to it. One being that it has this thing called Kharif, which is the monsoon. The monsoon between June, July, and August brings 1 million rich GCC people into the city because they love the rain, they love the cold, and that stimulates the market in an incredible sense that most people open their businesses for 4 months and then shut down. And I will give you an example. A room normally would cost you 30, 40 riyals a night in a good hotel. In Kharif, it could be 200 riyals a night. That's £400-500 a night. So the dynamics change and a lot of money to be made. That's one thing. The second thing for me is the climate, is that I've lived in Muscat and it's such a beautiful city, so much to do, but there's only a 3 or 4 months window where you can do these things. And those are the sort of winter months. While Salalah, what we're used to, has seasons. It has spring, summer, autumn. It has lots of rain. So Salalah, for me as a Westerner, born Western, I mean that I'm used to the Western sort of climate, it suited me well. And thirdly, that I think Salalah, sorry, the second is that between August and May, it becomes a Western tourist hub. So flights here from Germany, Italy, France, Poland, you name it. There's daily flights from Western countries for Western tourists. The local, you know, the sorry, alarm's gone off. Sorry. So that brings around 3 million tourists a year just in that period. So there's a number of factors that make, for me, a more economic sense than Muscat does for us as West. Sorry, just 1 second. Please just bear with me 1 second.
No worries.
I think it's the fire alarm's gone off. I apologize about that, but
We
there's
can't
nothing
hear
I
it.
can.
We can't hear it.
Oh, that's good. Oh, that's good news. So these two factors, the Kharif and international tourism, really stimulates the Salalah market. Now, at the moment, there are 6 major resorts being built in Salalah, from 60,000 residential capacity to high-end boutique wealth and wellness and health resorts. So Salalah to me is a perfect place to start a new life if you're looking to be an entrepreneur or a business person or have got ideas in any industry. And I guess my time is nearly up, but that's my commercial take on Oman. Any question, I'm happy to answer.
Thank you. Thank you very much for sharing your perspectives. Maybe we can just ask you one question because we do have the other panelists, and I know that you're leaving us. So the question for you is, what is the Shia population in Salalah?
Well, you know what? I've been here, as I said, for that period, and I've been in mosques where there is no difference. We pray. I pray together with them. They don't like to divide. They don't like this concept of Shia, Sunni, or whatever. You know, if you discuss that, look, we're Muslims. So I don't know the exact population, but if I look at, for example, in Muscat, a lot of the mindset leans towards Shia. In Slala, very similar. I don't know the exact population, but I guess it's around 20%.
MashaAllah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll leave it at that. Thank you so much, Brother Waqar.
No, I'm sorry, but if anybody's any questions,
Yeah.
they can get in touch with me on the group. I'm really sorry that I couldn't spend longer, but I wish you all the best. And if there's anything I can do as brothers, please contact me. I'm always there for you.
I'm very curious to know where you got your hat from, so I'm going to message you on that privately, inshallah.
Yeah, okay, inshallah we will. Okay, thank you. I'll leave you in about 5-10 minutes. I've just got another 10 minutes, but it's lovely to hear.
Thank you so much, Brother Waqar. May Allah bless you. Okay, we'll now move on to our next speaker. If I can just pull up their profile. So our next speaker is Sister Ghazala, whom you, as you can see, has just joined us. And Sister Ghazala will share her journey as a businesswoman and an outlook from a mother's perspective. So just a quick bio on Sister Ghazala. Sister Ghazala is the owner of Lord Roberts on the Green. Ghazala relocated to Oman with her daughters to build a new life in a safe and nurturing environment grounded in Islamic values. She's raising her youngest daughter in Muscat while embarking on new business ventures. Sister Ghazala, assalamu alaikum. Thank you for joining us. You have 5 minutes to, inshallah, share your perspectives on life in Oman. If you can kindly unmute yourself, please, sister.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much for inviting me today and allowing me to join this Zoom meeting. The fact that all of you, and I know we have a very, very large group here, tells me that you guys are where I was 15 years ago. Seeing what the West was leaning towards and how we saw it going has proved true. I knew that having a family of 5 children myself, something had to be done. Changes had to be made. How we were going to do it, I had no idea at the time. So in a few minutes, I'm just going to try and give you my own family's experience to help you navigate your own journeys. One thing I can say, you are on your way to changing your life and the life of your loved ones for the better, inshallah. I can tell you that because having just moved in August, Alhamdulillah, every day I say shukr to Allah, and there's another reason that I smile and I think, Alhamdulillah, Allah, you have been so kind to me to bring me here, to put me in a place that I couldn't have even imagined. Just the thought of moving somewhere, picking up your home, picking up your family, your furniture, your clothes, their clothes, and shipping it. It's just challenging, to say the very least. So some of you might know me from the Lord Roberts on the Green in the Webb Estate. The decision was not easy. And anyone who says it's an easy thing, it isn't. It took bravery. It took a lot of research, organizing. There's just so much to consider. How was I going to pick up my family from the UK and bring them, to Oman? Having tried moving to Dubai, so Dubai was initially what we looked at, and I understand the logistics in terms of taking such a momentous task. But in the end, Dubai for us wasn't the place to be. We were looking for something that had stronger Islamic and community values. Like the other panelists have said, you being a Shia, you want to be in a place where you are free to practice, where you are not, there are other countries, I won't mention any names, but there are other countries where you can, if you hold a majlis, you can get in trouble. And someone will come, and if you have a turba, they'll come and stomp on it or break it, and disrupt your prayer. They feel it's their duty to do so. You don't get that here, whether you put your hands up or whether you put your hands to the side, you are praying with people side by side. And masjids are on every corner. And there's beautiful masjids, but they're beautiful in not just in how they look, but the people, the warmth, and you feel part of a community, you feel part of a Muslim community. So looking at a few countries that were available, Oman was ended up being on the top list of where I wanted to be. A few factors played that in that decision. The cost of living. As you know, the UK is becoming so expensive. Starting up somewhere new where you have to be conscious of finances while trying to establish yourself is key. It's key to succeeding. If you don't get it right, and you don't plan for the things that need to be planned for, you're not allowing yourself to succeed. So being thoughtful in the process is crucial. There are things that you have to do. So many things you have to do. I had to think about my family. I had to think about how it would affect them mentally. How would it affect the children? How was I going to deal with the schooling, the housing? How was I going to deal with so many things? And there's many things that you've actually got to do in advance of getting here, and understanding that, and then things that you have to do while you're here to make that change seamless, to get, it's literally you've written the words and now you've got to dot the I's and tick the T's. So there is, it's a challenging process, but it's achievable. We've done it. And alhamdulillah, thank you to Allah for that. Funny story. I was saying about the cost of living. Went to the petrol station, filled up for the first time. And first of all, I didn't have to get out of the car, which was nice. He asked for eight Omani Riyal, and I looked at him and I thought, oh my God, but the price of oil is cheaper here. So it makes a big difference because you're driving everywhere, and cost is important. Gas and electric is important. People have asked about retirement. One of my factors was, okay, my kids are growing. What am I going to do? And I know that as you get older, you can't do things that you would normally do. You need help, and being able to have the luxury of having a maid. And in the West, we think it is a luxury. And so many of our elderly people have had to move into homes. Here, whether you're moving with your parents or whether you're moving at a time where you're pre sort of retirement but getting close to it, you can get a maid, or you can get a maid for your parents. I've managed to find one for 130 Omani Riyal per month, which is about £260. It makes life so much simpler, but that's just an example of so many things that, the pros of being here. Right. So even though I had done all the research, going through the logistics, as I said, is complex. I decided that I was going to move, and I decided that I was going to help with like-minded people do the same. So, having been here since August, my youngest daughter is now settled in school, made friends, is socializing outside, and despite being so adamant that she didn't want to move to Oman, and literally had a kicking and screaming, got her here. When we went to London to visit, she said to me, now don't make this a big deal, Mum. I said, okay, go on, tell me. She said, I can't wait to get back home. And I said, but we are home. And she said, no, I mean Oman. And, I got told off for smiling. But you can't help but smile when your child, who hasn't been there for so long and has been in the West and has all the influences of the West and is starting to live that sort of lifestyle, and you've taken that lifestyle away and you've put them into an Islamic environment, and you're worried that are they going to fit in? Are they going to make friends? Are they going to be in an environment where they find themselves that they can't relate to the other children? And she is starting to flourish. And, it brings peace to my heart. And, I keep on saying shukr, but I honestly can't say shukr enough. And she's not the only one. My older daughter, is 26. She goes to Pilates 6 days a week. She's made friends from, we have group WhatsApp chats, and with expats and Omanis both. So we can pick everyone's brains, we help one another. And that's one thing in terms of my own personal experience.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but we've really literally run out of time in terms of your segment. So if it's okay with you, can I just give you maybe a minute max to just summarize?
Of course. So leveraging from the experiences in Dubai, my daughter and I set up Stepping Stones, a business designed to help people like yourselves navigate successfully through the process, from dealing with issues before you move from the UK through to dealing with logistics of moving itself and then optimizing your life in Oman. The objective is to make everything as seamless as possible. And of course, you're welcome to chat to me. I will say, think about it and make sure it's the right place. It's a slower pace of life. It's a great place to bring family and start life afresh, put your priorities, which is connecting with your deen, connecting with your family, and call me if there is any questions.
Thank you.
If you want to further. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sister Ghazala, for being very candid and giving us a very honest review of what life is like in Oman. I'm sure a lot of our audience here, members here, would have questions for you specifically, and we will share your contact details with them if that's okay with you, and they'll be more than happy to reach out to you, inshallah. Okay, we're going to move on to our final panelist, and I'm excited to share or bring and introduce Brother Ahmed Al-Azizi to the front of our panelist here. Brother Ahmed Al-Azizi is a telecom strategist, investment advisor, and founder of Al-Azizi Global Projects, a multi-solution group active across telecom, IT, education, logistics, and investment. He's also the architect of Gateway to Oman, supporting foreign investors, professionals, and families in business setup, relocation, and long-term integration. Over the last 3 years, Ahmed has helped more than 100 families relocate, guiding them through the licensing, residency, real estate, and investment decisions. Ahmed Al-Azizi, Assalamu alaikum. It's nice to see you once again, and the floor is yours.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Thank you very much, Brother Hussein. Very mashallah, encouraging group. Inshallah, we look forward to see all of you, inshallah, in due time, inshallah. Very good, inspiring news and good actual stories from ground from Brother Abu Bakr and Ghazala, mashallah. So should I just go on? And
yeah,
you
just
have
give
any
us
questions?
just I think 5 minutes, if you don't mind. Just tell us what work have you been doing over the last 3 years, especially when it comes to helping families migrate to Oman?
Sure. So basically, in the beginning, it was random. In 22, I left telecom and I went to Saudi to work as an expert in STC. And when I was there, I realized Saudi had very less options. So within 1 year, unplanned, I sent more than, I think, 9 people within STC. And then the next year, and I realized there were either Yemeni, Pakistani, Indian, different Egyptians. So they didn't know that Oman had that. So I learned a lot by promoting it indirectly. So for those who know Gateway to Oman, the way I think about it is because I grew up and I was born in Saudi. My father was an Omani, went in the 60s, and I was born there. When I was 18, I couldn't find university. Then I went to US, and from US I came back to Saudi. So I myself was a minority multinational. So I realized what immigration does to and what is America. When I saw US, I realized what other people do for a country. And then I realized that Oman, as much as it's good home for others, Oman itself needs migrants. Oman itself needs, otherwise we won't grow. So the Gateway of Oman is like, it's not just promoting Oman that please come, it's a good country for you. I think Oman itself needs all of you. So in that way, I think it's a win-win match, because you cannot survive what's happening in GCC in other countries without mentioning name, that we are only these people. You strap citizen from others. You can't survive like this. This is not going to work. So I realized that so from there, the second year, 23, I think it was like 39 people. In 24, then we hit more than 100, alhamdulillah. So then we realized that everybody can come here. The policies are very easy to get the visa, and investment is easy, but I realized our strength was in the B2B, whether the 39% you mentioned on the retired, I think, and you mentioned those who want to start a business. So that, I think, were our strength. We know the market, we know the local market. We're in telecom, education, and trading. So those who are in ICT, we help them to set up a business, whether they want to buy a business. So we start focusing on the business, less on the visa. The visa is very easy to come on investment. And then we realized for those who came here, many of them without proper preparation, we start telling them, don't come here, because the 19%, I think you mentioned, on the employment. So I strongly suggest those who just don't leave your job and come here. So then people realize that, oh, okay, so Gateway to Oman is really honest. They really don't want you to come and suffer here. So I start telling people, no, don't leave your job. Come for a visit, come for a week or two, look at the country, look at the market, and then have a plan. And then we start helping others with the plan, whether ask your company if they would give you sabbatical. Would they allow you to work from home? Would they allow you to branch out your office if you're working in, let's say, you're a law firm? Would they take the idea of branching out and targeting GCC market? So they realize, so even the employment, it worked with them. So I always tell people, don't just quit your job and come, because it's tough with Omanization. It's tough. Their expertise are there because we do recruiting, but do recruiting the other way. The company has to tell us, Ahmed, find me a CFO. Then we go find a CFO. We don't do the retail the other way, assign, okay, come and then we match you because it's tough. So that also we help people. So we realize that that's our strength, alhamdulillah. And recently we have closed many businesses. Some people say, I just want a small workshop, car wash. These also we do those things. I also encourage people who are gonna buy something and go and give it to us to manage it. Think of Salala, think of villages, because though they really lack services. So if you come here and you have enough runway to live for a year or 6 months, you want to start something, consider the villages. So we take you also to the villages and stuff like that. We also, my own village have a lot of girls. So a lot of those who pass the 1 year, we give them girls who can stay from home and add them in the CR so they get out of the violation temporarily even. So those things we realized we added a lot of value from being the local. So for me, maybe being local, I add value from the local part. And I think that's our strength. And I think that's my time. If there is any question, feel free, please, to answer.
There are lots of questions, Brother Ahmed, as you might want to be monitoring the chat. So what I'll do now is I'm going to ask Brother Akil to put forward the questions to our panelists from the chat, and I will look at the survey that we had sent out and put forward questions from there, if that's okay. So Brother Akil, I'll pass it over to you now to sift through those questions and ask our panelists accordingly.
Brilliant, thank you. And thank you very much to all of those who have shared. Again, just to reiterate, this is just different perspectives being presented, and we've just tried to have quite a wide range of knowledge and experience. And again, just to give people an outlook and a flavor. And it was quite diverse, which is great. So we hope that's been helpful. And again, this is more sort of information sharing. So a lot of the I guess the summary is that obviously there's a lot of pros and there's a lot of niceties about it in terms of like the place itself. There's difference of opinions in rent and cost and school, and it depends the different types of lifestyles and the places people want to live. It seems like there's expensive areas, there's cheaper areas, and again, it depends on what the outlook is of the family as well. So there's not hard and fast, it's expensive or it's cheap. I think there's obviously various options, which places are suitable, which are not. Again, there's many variabilities. One of the main questions I think is really important for people is job opportunity and Omanization. So I think there's this narrative that there isn't many jobs or much opportunity. People have gone there without having a job and saying, actually, maybe you should find a job. What are the websites? Someone mentioned LinkedIn. Is there a specific website? Brother Aziz it sounded like he's got some sort of recruitment activity there, which is really great. So if we can just have the panel's opinion on job opportunity, maybe any sector, and then the whole concept of Omanization. Are we going to be are expats considered a secondary? Will their priorities be given to local Omanis? And the sectarian Muslim unity brotherhood is nice, we're all equal, but economically, will there be any detriment or judgment? So if we can start with AliHusain, if we don't mind, and whatever, we'll ask everyone just to give whatever their understanding is of that, if that's okay.
Thank you. So on the job market, without a shadow of doubt, I mean, Oman as an entire country has around 5 million in its population, and it's roughly 4 times the land size of UAE, whereas Dubai itself as a city has 4 million as its population during the day and 3 million at night. So getting employed is going to be a tough tall order. If you are, as an example, if you are a qualified teacher, if you have great qualification in professorship, if you are a scientist or the like, if you have skill sets that are not easily acquirable, then definitely you have greater prospects. Teachers is one thing that they're always on the lookout for. There are fairs all around the world where Oman is present and people are trying to bring in teachers. You get a good package, especially if your degree and your PGC, etc., and experience is from the West. When it comes to Omanization, it's very clear. If you do any research on Oman, and you should come here before you make the move. I think Ahmed mentioned that quite clearly as well. Even when you open a business, there are certain activities that you cannot do. You cannot work in and you cannot own as a foreigner fully. You will have to have an Omani partner, or they will have to own the business. So be very careful what activity you want to move into. But there are always ways around it. I mean, you'll find a partner and then you can move into that sphere as well. With regards to sectarianism, again, I've never seen that come up when it comes to the jobs. Will you be prioritized as an Omani? Yes, compared to a foreigner, but not with regards to your religious sect. I hope that helps.
I'm just about to board, and I thought I'd just throw in before anybody else. I've found that where the positions exist for UK nationals, it's primarily in banking and in finance, because they've got a very big banking investment sector in Oman with lots of money, and most of the people they recruit are Brits who've got a good track record. And of course, education as teachers, that's probably good. But other sectors like health, where it's primarily people from India, like highly qualified people for a quarter of the salary. So really the jobs are very few and far between. The only place I know where you can get work is in the investment sector, the Omani Investment Authority, other such like things, where there is always a focus on getting British people, and there is no race or colour issue here. As long as you have a good CV, then you'll get a job. And that's really where I think the opportunity is for us Brits. I hope that helps.
Thank you. Thank you. Sister Ghazala, would you like to add anything there? Yeah, I think you're just on mute.
Sorry, guys. There are lots of opportunities, but you have to choose carefully. Whether you're setting up a business, which means something retail or commercial, or whether you're going to set up something that provides a certain service, you have to pick your market. You need to know your market. You need to understand it, and you need to bring that understanding that you have in the West, the excellence that you have in the West, and bring it here, because that's what's missing. As Brother Mirza said, it's the service. If we can bring the higher levels of service and lead the way, you'll get there. But tread carefully, choose wisely, and inshallah, as I truly believe, if you jump into water, your job is to do the motions, and it's for Allah to help you stay upright in that water and to succeed.
Thank you. I've just got a few comments. Brother Yusuf, you've made a couple of comments. Happy to give you a minute if you just want to say a few words.
Hello, hi, yeah, thank you so much. Amazing to see so many participants on here. AliHusain knows me, and I work in education here. I've been here for 2.5 years. I will just say, I don't want to quash people's hopes and ambitions. The lifestyle here is amazing if you can stay afloat. And the difficulty is here staying afloat. So there's a lot of questions about jobs that I'm seeing. I know contacts very senior within banks, schools. Schools is probably a bit easier to get jobs, but within the finance sector, within business, it is very, very tough. So you've got to have a lot of runway in terms of capital that can see you through for a year or two. The reality also is the living expense. I'm seeing people in the comments say that it's 50 riyal for schools. Respectfully, it's not. It's 2,000 to 4,000 riyal with a maximum of 6,000 per month per student. These expenses all add up, and plus it's upfront as well. So you need to come here with cash in hand. For your house, you're going to need to furnish. That's going to need cash. Cars. Like in the UK, we had mortgages, we're paying monthly. You would do a car lease, you're paying monthly. Here, there's a lot of cash up front. So I don't mean to putting out people's ambitions, I would say come. Make sure you secure a job, otherwise you will be in trouble. Secure a job, get settled, and then bit by bit you can build a business. In terms of customer service, look, I've been here 2.5 years. There is a question around customer service. Do people actually appreciate customer service, and will they pay the extra for that? And I'm not sure they will, because people here are very price conscious. You put something up by 20 pence, you lose customers. So again, I'm just trying to summarize a whole load of realities within the business world here within a minute of speak, and it's difficult to do that all, but I hope that gives you a bit of insight into the realities here. But come and check it out is what I would say.
Brilliant, brilliant. Thank you for that, brother. We're just trying to navigate the comments and the questions, and continuously putting disclaimers that there's no sell here, and everything is very variable in your own circumstances, and this is more a process for people to pursue what the route is. And I think it's really great to have all the different perspectives and the reality checks and stuff like that. So to summarize, yes, jobs are hard. Make sure you're trying to look for something. There's certain sectors that will be better. There's certain sectors that we will have a disadvantage as an expat, because Omanis will be prioritized. There's certain businesses that you can and cannot do and will not be successful. And obviously, like you say, if you think about it, make sure you know your numbers, have cash up front, capex, in terms of like school and car and housing and stuff like that. Yeah. And so that's fine. So that's great. Just two more questions connected to that. I guess people can put it into the chat in terms of what job websites are there. Someone's mentioned LinkedIn, natural. But if there's any specific job sites or opportunities, someone shared another document. I don't know. We haven't checked them, but they may, do double check that. What's the outlook on remote work? I guess either in the West and what kind of jobs and the time difference, and maybe closer, for example, Dubai. And if you need to go into the office 1 or 2 times a week or a month, how feasible, practical, and how much of an opportunity is that? Whoever wants to.
Maybe we can give that to Brother Ahmed.
Yeah,
And
sorry.
If Brother Ahmed can also chime in with the previous question, if he thinks it's worth
if I
answering.
can go back,
Yeah.
maybe elaborate a little bit on. See, brother, I'll be hear me out differently. Okay, I might be different in this one. So I respect everybody's opinion, Brother Yusuf, in this, and those who put 2,000. But hear me out, brother. When you come, if you want that salary, if you want to keep your life and salary, and this is what I tell of UK or US or Canada, then you will have to come here temporarily. If you want to keep that salary, in this world, you never get everything. It's impossible. That's how it is, even in Oman. However, if you want to come and live like us, my son is making 500, my daughter is making 700. If you want to come in here, remove that hat of Western, wear the Omani hat, come down, because that's your landing. You're going to land and then you're going to navigate. Wear the Omani hat, wear that, bring down, forget about that big salary, come in here, because your goal is migration, to move from there. You can't move but keep, no, I want to keep the income of UK, the income of US. That's why my son struggled when he came from Baltimore. You can't do that. So I said, Muhammad, you can't do that. Muhammad, if you want to be environmental in Baltimore, then you're going to make 90,000, just stay there. Then he said, okay. I say, you can't do that. So it happened to me. He doesn't want to work in the business. So remove that hat, come here. We are living for 600. We are living at 700. We are, as Omani, we are even married and children. Come here, go to Marbella, 2-bedroom with utility for 200. You don't go to British school for 5,000. Don't go to ABQ. Come to Ahmed bin Majid for 3,000 a year, Omani Riyal. So at least do 2-year plan, landing plan. That's the landing plan. So you can do it. Then you will not network. It takes a long time to network. So if you are in urgent to come, you have to remove. If you are not in an urgent to come, then you can keep that salary high. But remember, it will be you will be here as an expat. That means you will not mix with the Omani culture. Really, Omani who are making more than 3,000, are very small number, and that's the problem, is the economy. So this is where I come differently. So that's the first part regarding the high salary. Come and live like Omani neighborhood, go to Omani schools. All of them have the British curriculum, most of them, alhamdulillah. So that's part. If you can do that, then that's good. If you have the leverage of time and you can be picky, then it's possible. But again, remember, when you come for 2 and 3, you're going to be targeted, unfortunately. So during that time, the 2 years contract, please catch up with the business, open something, do something, because that salary, unfortunately, is not sustain. However, you come down and you start living humble down and struggle a little bit, then it's going to be easy. So this is my opinion, and it's I'm saying it, and I'm very sad to say that, but that's the true reality. We cannot put that hat of that salary of the West, but want to live in Oman. So that's where the tough part is. That's answering that part. And regarding the job, the question was, what was the question?
The question was the first, how easy is it to get a job?
Remote. The remote.
Okay,
work.
yes,
Remote,
remote.
sorry,
Yes,
sorry, remote,
yes,
yes.
yes. Yes. For remote, honestly, if you're gonna come here, partner with some in the group. Let's say we have someone in the group that is, for example, has a business. That person, let's say he goes to X company, any medium to large company. Let's say I would say medium, don't go to large, because they want the big four and stuff. Go, for example, an accountant. Go to them and say, listen, how much you're spending in accounting, for example. We can do the same thing for you. Then you have to outsource it, but you have to have that local front end here. If you do that, we have done it.
That's fine. So that's a local business. So if you're offering services, local company, what about opportunity?
No. One of the group people will outsource this but outsource directly is going to be a little bit difficult. So you have to have a front end. One of the group here of the 200 who's here will go in the front and then let him also. So we should partner together. That's what I'm trying to say.
No, that's fine. Okay, good. And AliHusain, anything from your side in terms of like remote work back to England, time difference, or to Dubai?
So there are many people who have moved over with the jobs still present in the UK. Those who have to work certain hours will struggle because they're working till around 9 p.m. at night. It's not an easy life to lead. There are people who have jobs in UAE and they'll fly over, for example, Monday through to Thursday. They'll be in the UAE and then they'll come back. Another brother moving over who's planning to do the same with Abu Dhabi. But I see people moving up the ranks in their workplace and then they're more task-based. And if they can do that and they don't have such a stringent time frame to be available, then yes, then they can hold those remote jobs without a problem and also live in Oman.
I'm in every group.
Okay, great stuff. Okay, brilliant, guys. We only have about 10 minutes left before namaz time here, so I'm conscious to finish. I just wanted to, and Hussein, feel free to add, but I think the other question is around healthcare. The majority, how good are the healthcare and the facilities, and how does it work? It's paid, insurance, any free healthcare, and there were some specific questions about diabetes as well. So how good and how viable? Anyone who wants to, yes,
Sister Ghazala, yeah.
Okay, so initially I knew that healthcare was going to be an issue when you have a family. You've got to, one of the things is, okay, what health issues do we have? How are we going to deal with it? So I spoke to a broker and said, can you give me a quote in terms of getting private healthcare for Oman? And the person came back and said, 25,000 a year, please. I'm thinking, oh my God, are you kidding me? So then I researched online and I found Cigna. So I managed to get, middle of the range. So not bottom, but middle of the range cover. And I pay 1,100 a month for 2 adults, 3 adults and a child, which is pretty good. So the cover is worldwide. It does include in America, doesn't have eye care, but as soon as I came here, my youngest wasn't drinking and wasn't drinking water. I found that she was dehydrated, and I had to take her to hospital. And it was just very, very easy to just call the company up, and I took her into hospital. They, gave her a drip. They did some blood tests, and it was truly simple. So absolutely, you need to research. You need to know what your pocket is, and then find accordingly. And there is something affordable. Necessarily go with the first quote you've got, because my God, if I actually went with the first quote, I'd be on the back foot already. So there's lots of possibility. The hospitals themselves, the services, very professional, and expertise is amazing. It's no different to me having gone to Central London to a private like the Great Portland, or the Gatwick Spire in London. Lots of private hospitals. Same, excellent.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you. Ahmed and AliHusain, do you want to add anything? And then Hussein, I'll let you conclude if you want to add anything as well.
Yeah, we have a broker. It's around 350 to 400 a year. But you have to select hospitals. So there is an option. What we do, we go to big companies and we tell them we have a deal with them because they have 2,000 employee, 3,000 employee, 1,500 employee, and we have a sub account. So we have a way, but it's expensive, but there is option, but it's not as cheap. It's not free, and you get selective hospital. We can share some prices if anybody interested, approximate.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Okay, can I just come in there on the healthcare side of that? Okay, so healthcare in Oman is of three types mainly. You can do your pay as you go. You don't need to take out insurance per se. You can just walk in to a hospital or a clinic and get seen very quickly because it's pretty much private. Or you can go through the insurance route and you can get healthcare insurance. The difficulty, and I've seen this in the chat being asked quite a bit, is that anybody over the age of 60 or 65 for some insurers, foreigners over the age of 60 or 65 will not be able to avail healthcare insurance in Oman, foreigners. So you will have to go with an international healthcare package. It could be Bupa or, as the lady mentioned, other companies as well. Anybody under the age of 60, 65, you can take out healthcare insurance. Ahmed mentioned a couple of prices. You can get pretty much all the major hospitals included with dental and optical care as well at around 500 Omani Riyal per annum per individual. So it is quite affordable, and there are options available, packages available as well. The difficulty is over 60s or 65s.
Thank you for that. Hussein, like I said, we've got a few more minutes before namaz, so if you want to add anything.
No, just one topic that I think we haven't covered in terms of questions is retirement, because a lot of our respondents did mention retirement. So maybe very quickly, if I can ask from Brother Aziz to Sheikh AliHusain and Sister Ghazala to share if you all plan to retire in Oman, and essentially what is retirement like? What does it entail essentially?
Yeah, I think we didn't cover, I don't know, can I share a screen or maybe I can send it last time. So that golden visa that they mentioned, the golden visa is the 200,000. It has seven routes. Okay, so that's the best choice, right? The second choice is the real estate. And once you have, there is no limit in that. So maybe we should next time focus on that. Maybe we have a session on that. So basically, you have 7 routes for the business. You have to invest 200,000 in 7 routes. You can buy shares, you can deposit, you can you have a company to hire 50 Omani. So these are like the options. Once you have that, then you have another 6 tashilat or 6 easy routes. You get full family, retirement, you skip lines, you bring family, you can buy outside, I think one outside the ITC. So there are advantages. So that's the first option. So if you have a saving or you can close your business income, and that's the first choice. But the second choice is the normal ITC. That's also is good. So I would say the real estate should be the retirement. If you want to retire, my suggestion is connected to that rather than the business, because the business is very dynamic and every year they keep changing the policy. But if you connect it to the 200,000 business, hiring the 50 Omani, and it's not like day 150, but you should have the 200,000, show the statement, open the account. They don't take it, then show the company open and you have a plan. Then it's okay to do that. So the golden route is good.
Thank you. Sister Ghazala and Sheikh AliHusain. Sister, you're on mute again.
Sorry, yet again. Retirement, as I said, that I am very conscious of growing older, and my mother is elderly, and I've actually said to her, why don't you come and live with me? It's having a maid, the lifestyle. I have a healthier lifestyle than I had in the UK. So as you know, men can go to gyms and women can go to their ladies' gyms. So you're outdoors. There's so many activities that you can do. You have an active lifestyle. There's social interaction. You know, I know in the UK, arthritis is a big deal. The cold really gets into your bones. Up here, there's warmth, you know, and I'm sure we'll have other medical issues, but arthritis, hopefully not one of them. It's gearing towards, you know, whether you're raising your family or whether you're going to be retiring soon. Your lifestyle is so much better, and so therefore, retirement. I see myself retiring here. You know, one of the things I actually thought was 23 hours drive to Medina. I mean, how wonderful is that? You know, for me, I die in the land of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and so I'm happy to be buried here. So retirement definitely for me here.
May Allah grant you a long life, though.
Healthy one.
Sheikh AliHusain, Bismillah.
For retirement purpose, if you're going to work in Oman, again, setting up a business is quite straightforward. At around 1,500 Omani Riyal, you'll set up a business, you'll be able to move over on shareholder visas, and then it has the terms and conditions about hiring at least one Omani, etc. If you're not planning to work at all, then the best route, I think the simplest route is purchase a property. Then you can live here continuously, indefinite stay, renew your property visa every 2 years. The golden visa, if you have 200,000 as a minimum to invest, the government bonds do guarantee at present 6.5% return. So you could invest a certain amount within government bonds or buy property or a bit of both, and you'll be able to avail a 10-year golden visa for yourself, spouse, parents, and children of any age.
Santum, thank you so much. We are at time because it's Dhuhr time here in the UK. Akhil, any last words from your side?
No, of course, there's obviously a lot of interest, lot of questions and stuff like that. So inshallah, hopefully this has been helpful as an initial. Let's just digest some thoughts and develop some form of strategy about how to help and take things forward, inshallah.
Just one more. In one word, Sister Ghazala, Sheikh AliHusain, and Brother Ahmed, how would you describe life in Oman? In one word, what's the best thing about Oman? One word, though. Sister, you're on mute again. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Alhamdulillah.
Okay, Sheikh AliHusain.
There's one word I'll say, it's godly, alhamdulillah.
MashaAllah. Brother Ahmed.
I think safe.
Sorry?
Safe.
Safe, mashallah. Ahsantum. Thank you so much to our wonderful panelists. Thank you to Brother Akhil for setting this up. And thank you to all our audience. Like I said at the beginning, this was unprecedented in terms of the numbers that we've had. And inshallah, this might be one of many that we'll have in the future. We will try to dig deeper into a particular topic or a sector in terms of our future sessions. We will look at all your feedback and your questions and your comments and take them into consideration. And we will, of course, share the contact details of all our speakers, including Brother Yusuf and anyone else who've asked their contact to be shared as well, inshallah, in the group. So please do stay tuned. And we hope that you found this beneficial. Again, a disclaimer, we haven't done this to endorse any organization or any particular speaker or individual. Again, this is all entirely us trying to help navigate the process of moving to Oman, inshallah. So thank you very much for joining us once again. Have a lovely evening, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam.